As I say, there's a big concept. Then I've got 7 chapters. Okay? And under each chapter, I got 3 supporting concepts to support that chapter. That becomes my talk. That becomes my workshop. That becomes my podcast. Everybody see where I'm going with it? See, I try to demystify this big concept, 7 smaller concepts that support the big one. See, power is a means or source for supplying energy. When you see a power couple, they're just means or sources for supplying energy to other people. And when you're trying to attract people, which is the business y'all are in, people are attracted to energy. Almost all conflict comes when 2 people don't believe the same things, okay? So I have a belief it is the student's responsibility to extract the maximum value out of the teacher. The teacher's gonna teach, right? If you're in the Honey Badger, Jay and Al are gonna give you the content, say this is exactly what you gotta do to go be successful. It is the student's responsibility to extract the maximum value from the teacher, okay? Not the teacher's responsibility to do that for the student. Everybody see a belief I have?
Yep.
So when a person says, oh, it ain't gonna work, or it don't work for me, and if you're in the coaching business for a long time, you really understand what I'm talking about here, okay? So then I go on to say, signs that you are not coachable. Excuses, blaming, not accepting responsibility, lack of execution, inability to see it through, okay? Our inability to see this as a process versus an event, whining versus acting, not showing up, not doing assignments, not being excited and engaged. This is how big time people think. This is how big time people go to conferences. This is what power couples look like. Until she went and experienced it and actually saw it with her own eyes, she got it. Because remember, we would go to the conference during the day and talk about how do we 10x her life. Then we would go to lunch and sit around and talk with these people. Then we would go to dinner and have dinner with these people. And she was around it. And she came to me after day 3. She's like, I get it. Now I understand what power couples look like. See, power is a means or source for supplying energy. When you see a power couple, they're just means or sources for supplying energy to other people. And when you're trying to attract people, which is the business y'all are in, people are attracted to energy. Before I get started, there is one very important question I have to ask you.
Coach Michael Burt, Monster Producer Academy CEO. He's a personal friend of mine.
What good is it to have knowledge with no desire? What good is it to have desire with no skill? What good is it to have knowledge and skill with no confidence? A big part of activating your prey drive is finding and refining your talent. This is something that helps you get to the next place. People are made up of 4 parts: a body, a mind, a heart, and a spirit. You need to know you, and then you need to have an awareness, and sometimes you don't even know what you need. So all 4 parts of our nature have to be clicking. Your hard skill solves my problem. The bigger the problem, the more money people will pay to solve it. Everything is valuable to your future. What I'm really paying you for is your past. A monster producer combines multiple skills to dominate a market. When you get to wake up every day and do what you love doing, man, it is hard not to be motivated. They think at a higher ordinance than everybody else. They want to create new things. I have a conviction about me, and that's the conviction that you feel when I talk, when I speak. It comes across as passion. You got to learn how to connect to another person at such a deep level that it moves them. You have goals, you have targets, but you don't have a sense of urgency. They're going to exchange money, energy, they're going to raise capital, they're going to start new businesses, there's going to be joint ventures. I think your purpose finds you. It is activated. The word activate means to initiate. Discipline, which is a derivative of the word disciple, which means to give yourself to a person or cause you believe in. Do you believe in your future, yes or no? When we know better, we do better. Finding the problem that you are uniquely qualified to solve, and you don't know what problem you really solve for whom, then there is no big financial exchange right there. You should leave here thinking bigger today than when you came. And I want to shake your hand and look you in the eyeball when you make this decision. Thank you. We'll see you in the back. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Woo, y'all look so good. Give yourself a hand for looking so good. Thank you. It's been so cool. Some of you have come up to me that I've only seen via Zoom. And you're like, you come right up to me and you say, hey, Coach Burt, hey, Coach Burt. And I'm like, yeah. You know, you want to take a picture? They said, no, we want to take a picture with your wife. I'm like, Thank you, sweetheart. My name is Coach Michael Burt, and I have a real simple philosophy. I believe everybody needs a good coach in their life. I believe a good coach can change your life. I believe a good coach will get you to do things you don't want to do. They'll challenge you to become something you didn't think you could become, but a good coach can take you to places you never thought you could become. How many of you got to where you are today because somebody, somewhere chose to see the good in you when it was easy to see the bad? See, when Doug called me, he said, Coach, I want you to really talk about going pro. How many of you guys have heard me say at some point in everyone's life, we make a decision. The word decide means to kill something off. The word decision means to cut something away. And we make a decision to leave our amateur desires behind. And we go pro. And we go pro in the body, physically. We go pro in the mind, mentally. We go pro in the heart, emotionally. And we go pro in the spirit, spiritually. We leave those amateur desires behind and we go pro. You see, Doug mentioned that I do a lot of work with Dr. Kevin Elko, which is Nick Saban's psychologist at the University of Alabama. Dr. Elko always says some people play on Friday nights, some people play on Saturdays, but the pros play on Sundays. And then there's the Super Bowl pros that play for the Super Bowl. And only you can make up your mind to leave those amateur desires behind and take this business serious and go pro. So I'm gonna break down the habits of the top 1% of performers in the world. Would that be okay for you? How many of you would like to be in the top 1% of performers in the world? And I'm gonna show you that the top 1 to 3% of performers have 5 things that they do, and you can look at these 5 things and you can ask yourself, where do I struggle? What is my missing structure? How do I build this? And it all goes back to cycles. So Doug mentioned my talent. I can't cook. I'm geographically illiterate. Can't fix a car. There's a lot of things I can't do, guys. But the good Lord gave me the talent to take a concept, deconstruct that concept, codify that concept, and then package and deliver that concept in a way that activates something deep inside of a person. You see how clear I am in my talent? See, each one of you have a unique talent. That talent was given to you at birth. It was factory installed by the manufacturer. But you have birthday gifts that you haven't opened yet. And once you find the birthday gift, and once you package the birthday gift, and once you distribute the birthday gift, then you can go help a lot of people with the birthday gift. So greatness has a cycle. And let me show you what that cycle looks like. And this is a cycle that I went through personally in my life. I grew up in a small town in Tennessee. There's all my Tennessee people. I was raised by a single mother who had me when she was 16 years old. My mom and dad married for 1 year and then they divorced. My dad never came to a baseball game. He never hugged me. He never told me he loved me. He never showed up at anything I did growing up early in my life. So it was me and this real tough single mom. And my mom taught me we dress up, we show up, we grow up, and we deliver. How about a hand for all the mamas out there in the world? And mom wouldn't let me miss a day of school growing up, and man, I hated it. Other kids could miss, and other kids could do this, and I said, Mom, I don't feel like going. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. Do you really believe Journey feels like singing Don't Stop Believing Again? But they do it when you go to pay money to see them play, right? So my mom, while she was working her 2 jobs, she would work at the shirt factory during the day, and then she would go to nursing school at night. And she would take me down to the local baseball field where I would stay for hours and hours and hours. And it was one woman down there named Mickey Vincent. Mickey Vincent was a female baseball coach, the only female down at the local baseball field, and that woman tended to me, she cared for me, she fed me. And I observed something very powerful. I watched how she took care of other people's kids. And I had a huge revelation. Revelation is a sudden, dramatic moment. I observed and I had a revelation. A good coach can change a person's life.